Have you ever reached the end of a long day and thought, why does my life still feel stuck? You're doing your best, yet your mind feels tired, your heart feels heavy, and progress feels distant. Overthinking turns into exhaustion. Motivation comes and goes. Self-doubt starts to whisper louder than hope. Here's the truth most people never hear clearly: you're one discipline away from a new life. Not a dramatic change. Not a perfect plan. Just one steady decision repeated daily, even when emotions don't cooperate. Have you ever caught yourself thinking this way? Most people wait for motivation to appear before they act. They tell themselves they'll start when they feel inspired, confident, or ready. But motivation is emotional. It rises and falls depending on mood, energy, and circumstances. On the days it disappears, people assume something is wrong with them and slowly stop trying. Discipline works differently. Discipline shows up quietly, without excitement. It doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you committed to. When you act with discipline, even on low days, you break the cycle of guilt and inconsistency. Each small action becomes proof that progress doesn't depend on emotions. Over time, this creates stability. Stress decreases because you're no longer negotiating with your feelings. You move forward with calm control instead of pressure or force. When you repeatedly break promises to yourself, confidence slowly erodes. You start doubting your ability to follow through, and self-worth takes a quiet hit. Discipline repairs that damage. Every time you keep a small promise, waking up on time, finishing one task, honoring a boundary, you rebuild trust with yourself. Discipline is self-respect in motion. It tells your mind and heart that you matter enough to show up consistently. You don't need dramatic change to feel stronger. You need reliable effort. As discipline becomes part of your identity, confidence grows naturally, not from praise or validation, but from knowing you can depend on yourself. Overthinking often feels productive, but it quietly drains energy and keeps you stuck. The mind replays conversations, imagines outcomes, and searches for certainty that never fully arrives. The more you think, the heavier everything feels. Action changes that pattern. Even small, disciplined action shifts attention from fear to movement. When you focus on what needs to be done instead of what might go wrong, the mind begins to settle. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes after it. Discipline gives the brain something real to engage with, reducing mental noise and emotional tension. As movement replaces hesitation, anxiety loosens its grip and stress starts to fade without force. Rejection can deeply shake a person's sense of direction, especially when it comes from work, life opportunities, or people once trusted. It often triggers self-doubt and a need for validation. Discipline offers a different anchor. Instead of reacting emotionally, disciplined routines create structure and purpose. You continue showing up for yourself regardless of how others respond. This consistency rebuilds identity through effort rather than approval. Over time, rejection loses its power to define worth. Stability returns, not because circumstances change, but because your foundation becomes stronger and less dependent on external acceptance. Many people believe their surroundings will improve first, and only then will they feel motivated to change. When work feels stressful or life feels unbalanced, it's easy to blame the environment. But personal growth often works in reverse. As your habits become more disciplined, your behavior shifts, and people notice. You communicate with more clarity, manage time better, and respond instead of reacting. This change quietly influences how others treat you. Opportunities appear not because you demanded them, but because your consistency created trust. Discipline reshapes your environment by reshaping you, bringing a sense of dignity and control that reduces emotional strain and builds inner calm. Burnout doesn't come from lack of effort, it comes from carrying too much without structure. When everything feels overwhelming, even simple responsibilities feel heavy. Discipline, when practiced gently, restores balance rather than adding pressure. Small routines bring predictability to chaotic days. You stop forcing yourself and start guiding yourself. Instead of exhausting bursts of effort, disciplined pacing conserves energy. Over time, the nervous system relaxes. Rest becomes restorative, not guilty. As routines stabilize, emotional fatigue eases and clarity returns, allowing strength to rebuild without stress or self-criticism. Emotions naturally rise and fall, but when they control decisions, life becomes unstable. Acting only when you feel good creates inconsistency, while reacting during low moments often leads to regret. Discipline provides balance. It keeps you steady when emotions fluctuate, allowing you to act from values rather than impulses. Instead of chasing highs or avoiding discomfort, disciplined habits create rhythm and predictability. This steadiness protects emotional health by reducing extreme reactions. You no longer feel pulled in multiple directions by moods or circumstances. With discipline, responses become measured, decisions become calmer, and resilience grows quietly through repeated, thoughtful action. Many people wait for a dramatic turning point, a sudden burst of clarity or motivation that changes everything at once. That moment rarely arrives. Real change happens through small, consistent steps that seem ordinary at first. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and the life you want to build. Each disciplined action strengthens momentum, even when progress feels invisible. Over time, these quiet efforts accumulate into meaningful transformation. You stop chasing breakthroughs and start becoming one through daily consistency, patience, and commitment to growth. Let this truth settle gently: you're one discipline away from a new life. Not perfection. Not pressure. Just patience, consistency, and belief in growth. Discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. It brings emotional healing, stress relief, and lasting inner peace. So tell me, how are you choosing discipline today? Share your thoughts below. Your journey may help someone else heal too. You're not behind. You're building, one disciplined step at a time.